Grading quizzes sounds like it should be fast, right? Until you're dealing with multiple choice, multi-select, circle a few answers here, circle the word that completes the sentence, fill in the blank, short written responses. There's all different kinds of ways to respond in quizzes, which can slow down our grading, right? Some teachers might think AI can't handle that, right? Oh, AI could maybe save me some time, but if there's all these different types of responding, the AI can't handle it. Well, I'm ready to show you today that GradingPal can do that. I'm Paul. I've been a teacher for 20 years, and now I'm working for GradingPal, an AI-powered startup to help teachers with the workflow around grading. In this video, I've taken an old, now released Wisconsin State ELA test, and just as teachers often do, I've taken a few questions from that to do as a quiz with my students. It has multiple choice, it has circle this word to complete the sentence, and it has a short response. You'll see how AI can grade that quickly and efficiently. If you want to check it out yourself, try at gradingpal.com. This is a grade 8 ELA quiz with a mix of question types. Here on the first page, you see a story. Then on the next page, you have to write a paragraph, one paragraph argument explaining which step in the process of building the amphibious go-kart, that's part of the story, is most important. And then on the following pages, look, we have some multiple choice that connect to words that are underlined in a passage. We have here, you have to select two options. It's a vocabulary question. Here you have to circle the correct word. This is a grammar question. And then there's another one down here where you have to select two options. It's a vocabulary question. So you can see multiple ways to respond here in this assignment. This is exactly the kind of assignment that's easy to assign, helpful for kids, but can be exhausting to grade. And you'll see how GradingPal can really help. To set up my assignment, I'm going to select quizzes here. I can give my assignment a title. Here I've got my PDF ready to upload. The AI is processing the PDF so it knows exactly how it needs to be scored. Now the AI behind GradingPal is generating a rubric for this assignment. If I want to see the way AI has drafted the rubric for each question, I can click here to expand the field, and I can read through each score level for each criterion. And I can click in to edit and make any adjustments if I need to. Now it's time to upload the student work. I have two work samples here from my device. Now we're going to click in to look at a student submission. Let's see how it handled the multiple choice first. So it handled the multiple choice really well. This was a vocabulary question. One of these 4 words in the paragraph was misspelled. As you can see, the correct answer choice here is D, investing. So they got the student feedback right here. The strength, you correctly identified the misspelled word. Great. Now let's look at one where the student is asked to select 2 options. I like this question about transitional phrases. I really want kids to learn to write this way. The correct answers here are, although some people think, and while it may be true that. So you can see how each of these introduce a counterclaim. It says, excellent job, you correctly chose both B and D. I'm really impressed here that GradingPal can handle the multiple choice where there's just one right answer, and the GradingPal can handle the multiple choice where there's more than one right answer, where the student is supposed to select 2. Here, the student was supposed to circle, and I did that with handwriting, so let's see how that was graded. Excellent work. You correctly identified that must best expresses the requirement enforced by rules. This was about putting food in a bear locker near a campsite. So the student had to circle in the text one of these words that was correct. In this case, it was must and are, and GradingPal was able to interpret that really nicely. Correctly selected must, correctly selected are. And that was from handwriting where I just circled in the text. Great work. Here's where grading quizzes can really slow us down, right? The written response, even a short written response paragraph requires judgment, checking in with the rubric, not just checking for completion, but looking at clarity, evidence, reasoning, right? So this student is doing great. They got 10 out of 10 points. Let's look at this quickly, and then we'll look at the other one. So it says, you did an excellent job clearly stating your claim that applying sealant is the most important step. This was about a child trying to make an amphibious boat. Of course, they need sealant. You supported your argument with specific details and a direct quote from the text. Your explanations of the consequences if sealant is not used made your reasoning very clear. The paragraph was well organized with a clear beginning, middle, and end, and you included a strong concluding statement. Keep up the great work. So it shows the score on each of these measures from the rubric, and it shows strengths, which were already, somewhat addressed in the feedback, clear specific claim, strong use of relevant text evidence, logical structure. Let's look at some room for improvement. Even though it's got a perfect score, there's some room for improvement. GradingPal can be very rigorous. Consider varying your sentence structure. That's a great thing to say to a kid who's already doing well. It makes their writing even better. Try using even more descriptive words. That's true. That's true. It directly quoted from the text, but it didn't really try to use descriptive words on its own. Now let's look at the other student who was struggling a little bit more. Right? They still got a good score, but let's see some of the feedback that addresses how they could do better. You did a great job stating your claim and remaining focused on it throughout your paragraph. Your reasoning is clear. You explain that the boat is necessary for the go-kart to float, referencing how without it, the go-kart would sink. You could make your answer even stronger by adding more vivid or specific details from the passage, such as exactly how the boat is attached or a further explanation of why floating is critical. Keep working on expanding your use of descriptive language and passage details. To me, that's the real thing that student needs to work on. They actually didn't put many quotes from the text. Let's see if that's reflected in the area of improvement. Expand on your explanation by describing the process or the role of the boat in greater detail. Even more specific details. I would add here, include quotes. They didn't really include quotes. So you can see that GradingPal handled these different formats of question types very well, from multiple choice to multi-select to short response. What matters here is that I'm reviewing. I'm not regrading. I'm not taking a bunch of time to grade. I'm scanning for accuracy, checking alignment with my expectations, and making small adjustments only when needed. Grading quizzes shouldn't drain your energy. With GradingPal, multiple choice is fast, written responses are handled thoughtfully, and your time goes into instructional decisions, not repetitive grading tasks. You can review the feedback with the kids and help them learn to do better on the next quiz or even retake this one. That's how you grade quizzes with AI without losing control or quality. Give it a try for yourself today at gradingpal.com.